one piece. Let's move to the trade environment. In the trade environment in Nigeria, we have central bank, we have Nigerian Customs Service, we have Ministry of Finance, we have Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, we have NAFDAC, SON and DPR, we have NDLA, SSS and MPF. Scan agent used to be there, but they are no more there. You can replace this agent with Nigerian banks. Nigerian bank as stakeholder, NPA, Nigerian Port Authority as stakeholder, NIMASA as stakeholder, and even the importer themselves. Let's take them one by one. What is the role of Nigerian bank? Sorry, central bank. What does central bank do as far as national trade is concerned? Anybody? Payment. But more importantly is the fact that they determine the forex. More importantly is the fact that they determine the what? The forex. More importantly, at every point in time they set the forex, and you know how important is forex to an importer. Let me explain how important that could be. 2009, Naira went from about 120 to about what the financial crisis. You know what that means? That means, let's say February 2009, I was opening my form N, I put an exchange rate of 120. 3 months down the line, I wanted to pay back. It was $1 billion. That was 120 million rent. 3 months down the line, I wanted to pay back. It was $1 billion. That was 120 million. 3 months, I want to pay back. It is now 150. How much am I paying? 150 million. What's the difference? 30 million. So you can appreciate how important that exchange rate will be. And that was what happened during the financial crisis actually. That was a major, and that was actually one of the risks of international trade. We'll be looking at some of the risks later and how to hedge against such risks. But that was one of the major risks of international trade. Exchange rate fluctuation, especially for the importer. For the exporter, it's also a challenge, but in the case of Nigeria, you are better off. You know why? You know why you are better off? Because it's still high. Am I communicating? It's still high. If I'm buying, so like we facilitate export transactions, and whenever we're doing a projection, most of the time we use 150, 160, but we know we can sell up to 170 when the dollar comes. Do you understand? So it's a large extent you have a leverage on the export side, but on the import side, you are not. Nigeria Customs Service. Nigeria Customs Service facilitates international trade. They also help in anti-smuggling operation. They collect revenue. That's a major thing they do. In fact, they have target. And I ask myself, if customer is having target, I thought you set target on something you have control over. Do you understand what I mean? Maybe because they know there are so many smuggling going on. What do I mean? If I set a target to collect revenue, invariably I'm saying there will be more import. Am I right? But I don't have control over that import. Maybe they are reading the economy and projecting what the import will be. But really, they are meeting the target. That's an interesting thing for me. So, meaning some of those money are leaking into some other pocket in the forecast, I guess. Because now if they set the target and are able to meet the target, that for me is commendable. Revenue collection, anti-smuggling operation. Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance is actually, Customs is actually under the Ministry of Finance. In fact, the chairman of the board of customs is the Minister for Finance. So Minister of Finance basically set the tariff. You know, since July, car rate has gone up, right? And also late last year there was an also issue with rice importation, the tariff. And a number of other tariffs that happened this year. I think also for importation of bush also happened this year. All these are determined by who? Finance, in conjunction with trade and investment. Now one of the proponents of the fact that we have to produce our own car is who? Trade and investment. For them to implement it, they work with who? Ministry of Finance, to put a ban or increase the tariff on what? Car. And that way they are able to achieve their objective. SON, NAFDAC and DPR. SON, NAFDAC and DPR. What do they do? SON, NAFDAC and DPR? Standard. Let me have one. Standard of the goods. They determine standard of the good. SON, NAFDAC and DPR determine standard of the good. You can also add to that NERC, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. So if I'm bringing in a power equipment, I will need NERC, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. Then NDLA SSL, what do these do in the port?
Drugs and stuff.
NDLA for drug, ASF for security, MPF, law and order. You can cross this in your manual, scanning agent. Before 2006, Nigeria was doing what is called destination inspection. Nigeria was doing what is called, pre-destination inspection. Before 2006, let me explain what that means. Before 2006, goods coming into Nigeria will have to be inspected abroad. Meaning, custom does not do any inspection locally. Are we together? Are we together? Now, that was 2006. By 2006, the passenger government came in and said, no, we have to begin to do destination inspection. So custom now has to be doing the inspection in Nigeria, right? And the processes involved, they needed to engage 3 inspection agents. Move back a little. Yeah, I'm talking here. They needed to engage 3 inspection agents. Number 1, we have Cotecna. Number 2, we have SGS. Number 3, we have Global. These are inspection agents that were working on behalf of federal government. Are we together? Are we together? Yeah. Federal government. Now, they were given this job for 6 years on build, operate, and transfer. Meaning, when good arrive, they will do the assessment of custom value. They will issue a report to custom. They will pay duty based on that report. Custom just basically check, verify whatever they've claimed on the document at the port, and do all their necessary statutory duties before the good is let out of the port. For 6 years. They've done it for 6 years. They're supposed to end 2 years ago, but that could not be possible because people protested that custom was not ready. Last year, December, custom was able to push through federal government, and federal government approved that custom take over that job. So now, these agents, scanning agents, or scanning service providers, SSPs, are no more valid. Now they don't do that job for Nigeria again. Who is doing it now? Customs. Customs. We're talking about the document that Customs now issue as a result of that, called the pre-arrival assessment report. Before then, they were issuing risk assessment report. Now, pre-arrival assessment report. And we're talking about that later. Of course, Nigerian importer and major stakeholder. I also talk about Nigerian banks. How do we do Nigerian banks? Nigerian banks will process the form. Nigerian banks will also help you with your documentation when it arrives for you to process your PAN. Nigerian banks will help you with your payment. So Nigerian bank is also a major stakeholder. They will process the form. They will help you with the RAP processing and also with the payment. Nigerian banks. So these are the stakeholders in the trade environment. Let's look at the custom job again. Revenue collection, anti-smuggling operation, generation of statistics, facilitation of legitimate trade, and national security. Facilitation of legitimate trade and what? National security. Now, we are moving on to the innovation and reform in customs. Innovation and reform in customs. A lot of people have issue with customs. If we have issue, maybe we have issue with those of them at the port. But largely, I think their management, to me, personal opinion, seems to be sincere with what they are doing. At least as far as the economy is concerned. What do I mean? Look at this. In the last, between 2008 and now, we've had all this innovation in customs. 2008 and now. It started with e-payment. For those of us that probably are aware, before 2008, if I pay my duty, it will take about 2-3 days, sometimes a week or even more if there are issues, for custom to confirm the money I paid in the bank. Everything was manually done. And government have a target of 48-hour clearing target. They've used 24 hours now. Was 48-hour clearing target then. To ensure that they were able to meet up with that target, you know what the government did? Customs started e-payment platform. There was a pay direct platform by InterSwitch that was used for this payment in the bank. So what happened is, if I go and pay today, I will get instant confirmation of my payment. What has that done? It has reduced the 2-3 days delay that was occurring before. Now, before I can go and make this payment, I need to do something. I need to do e-declaration. I'll come back to e-manifest later. E-declaration. Now, any vessel coming to Nigeria, must send the manifest, the detail of the goods on board to custom system. That custom system is called ASICUDA, Automated System for Custom Data. ASICUDA, Automated System for Custom Data. Now, as soon as the vessel departs, by regulation they are meant to send the what? Manifest to this system. Look at what happened. I am an agent. I want to clear 10 containers from the port. So here is it. In the system, it's already shown that these containers are there. Before I can move it out, I will go and do e-declaration. Before now, this also was done manually. I will go to a place called DTI. It's a cafe, DTI cafe at the port. I will make declaration. So what am I saying? Government, I want to move so and so container out of the port. When I do that declaration, a document will be generated for me to pay my fee duty. When I've gone through all the custom processes and I'm ready to move the goods out, I will go and do e-release. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes.
Let me go back again. No, please ask me a question. I'll go back again. To make this easier to comprehend, let's imagine this. Okay?
Is this DTI still relevant?
Oh yes, the directed that is good. Yes, it started yes. It's a cafe that every agent go to.
You said this system, ASICUDA, has taken over.
No, ASICUDA. Okay, that means you didn't get it truly.
Right.
ASICUDA is the application of custom that is filled with information.
Okay, software.
Yeah, it's a software thing. There's still the information of the manifest. DTI is a cafe. It is actually a cyber cafe. It's just a dedicated cyber cafe for import and export issues. You understand? It's a cafe. But DTI then means direct trader input. Now, imagine a custom officer sitting down in Abuja, and this custom officer knows that there are so number of container in Apapa, so number of container in One, so number of container in Tinker. Why? Every vessel coming in may send a what? Manifest. So that means custom have all the information of the container coming in, right? Are we together? If I need to move anything out, let's say the whole container at different ports in Nigeria, let's say it's 10,000 containers, all the containers as of today. And about 5 agents came in and made declaration and declared. Total number of declaration they made was 1,000. How many containers do we have at the port? 10,000. How many containers was declared? 1,000. How many is left? 9,000. That declared amount is the amount that they will pay duty on. And when they do e-release, what that does is to deduct that from the total available. So the person in Abuja knows that as of today, the remaining number of containers at the port is 9,000. Why? Yesterday 1,000 was what? Released. Does it make sense? So there is e-manifest that fits with information, right? E-declaration that gives an intention to what? To clear. E-release that means the container has been moved out of the port. Does it make sense? Yeah. So these are innovation in custom, e-payment, e-manifest, e-declaration, release. Last year we have the e-for-men. Remember what's for men? What's for men? What's for men?
It's an application form you need to fill if you are bringing in.
Yes, the application you need to fill if you are bringing in stuff. Now it's been what? It's not e-for-men. We're going to log in to check how to go about it very soon. E-for-men. That's the application form you need to fill to bring in stuff into Nigeria. E-for-men. Now, then late last year, we have another innovation in custom called the PAR, Pre-Arrival Assessment Report. Actually, the process that those agents were doing were automated by custom. Do we understand? They were also doing it manually. I remember then as a banker, if I my first 1.5 years in banking, I was on night shift. You know what I was doing? Every evening, document would have arrived from abroad. I would go through those documents,